Good morning and welcome to Leading Life Large. This is Robb Braun and it is Monday, March 11th, and welcome to Leading Life Large. Thank you for your patience for us not being on air last week. Doing a lot of traveling, and in part of the travel was some celebration, my wife's birthday, and it was a very, very busy weekend that went into the first part of the week. But we're up and going here and committed to being here every week, every Monday. So it is 9 a.m. here on the Pacific Coast. No matter where you are on the planet, I acknowledge you for tuning in. If you're joining us live, me, and if you choose to download this later on, you're getting this program later on, that's cool too, however it is you get it. So Leading Life Art is your opportunity to take a look at what's working, what's not working for you in all aspects of your life, business and personal. So it's my objective every Monday to be able to bring something to you that's going to help give you some perspective. Take a look at what it is that you need to be doing differently so you can be having the successes that you deserve in all areas of your life. Now, I did this topic for this morning because it was, this whole idea of daylight savings time. I remember it used to be kind of an exciting thing, where for me, the idea of it getting dark a little earlier and we were kind of setting the mood or the tone for the winter was an exciting thing. And now that we're going to be moving into spring, having a little longer day and suddenly having a little more daylight in the evening, good positive thing. And what I realized as we started approaching this weekend, that part of me that wanted to hold on to the nostalgic part of what I enjoy about us either moving into or off of daylight savings time, and I found myself just being really negative about it. And I've felt this way for a long time right now because I'm so into now following my time and paying attention to my time that rather than seeing it in any kind of positive light, I found myself really complaining about it. And not outwardly, but there was a part of me that was going, shit, I'm going to lose an hour of sleep tonight. When I got up this morning, it was an hour less sleep and an hour earlier than what I would normally be getting up, it all being relative, of course. So for getting up at 4 a.m. meant that it felt like getting up at 3 a.m., and I didn't get to bed any earlier last night. So there's a bit of an adjustment. And so what I found myself doing is realizing that, not only do I complain about these time shifts and how it kind of messes with my own time clock, I really started taking a look at how it is that I find myself, if you will, being imprisoned by time. Now, when I go out and teach, and one of the questions I always ask in the very beginning is, what's the one thing about time that we cannot control? And that is time itself. The reality is we cannot change time. Time is, this hour we get back next year, it's all relative, but time is time. Time is 24 hours in a day. We're not going to have any more or less. We're going to have so many days on the planet. We're not going to have any more or less. Well, I guess we could say we may have more or less based on how it is that we choose to spend our time today. And that really is the key piece in this, is really taking a look at how it is that I spend my time. I know that what I've noticed, getting very honest with myself, what I've noticed is that I feel pressured by time. And I appreciate that I'm taking time more serious than I ever have. But what I've also done is I've also created another situation where now I'm going through this not having enough time, feeling pressed by time. And then, if you will, silently, because I'm not an outward complainer. Part of that is I choose not to complain about things, but then what I also realize if I'm internalizing and I'm complaining in here, no different. You just don't know about it. So what I realize is that I've created a situation for myself where time's become unfriendly, and I find myself complaining about not having enough time. Not having enough time to be able to do the things that I want to be able to do. And you may find that's true for you, where you're an active person, you're a busy person, you're a take action person, you're doing these things, and you find that there's just not enough time. And then when we have the clock get pushed forward and the whole hour get lost, I have a hard time framing the fact that it is only just 1 hour. And it's really only 1 hour the first time it happens. But then today, moving forward, I still get 24 hours in the next 24 hours. I don't lose anything there. So, so much of it is about perspective on time, but the other is getting back to, and this is the piece that I want to bring forward to all of you. Well, I guess the first question is to ask you, where is it that you find that you're just not having enough time? Are you feeling some of those same kind of stressors about not having enough hours in the day, enough days in the week? I know I certainly run into that as well, where what'll happen is, let's say I'm managing my days and I am being efficient with my time. There are times when it still feels like I don't have enough time in the day, and then I wish I had more days in the week because the weekend's here all of a sudden, and I'm trying to balance, work and relaxation and doing business and time with my family and all of that. And so the question for you is just, how are you feeling about your time? This thing that is finite, that we can't stretch and we can't store. If I have a few hours today that I didn't use, I can save them and use them tomorrow. We don't get that. We don't get that. And the other thing about time that's so important is that, kind of in lines with what I just shared right there, is that we don't get it back. That once used, gone. Once wasted, gone. And that's the piece that I want to really focus on for you and for me today, is to take a look at how I am, how you are using your time. And that's the key right there. There really is no time that I ever have to be other than when I make a commitment to you to be somewhere at a certain time. But outside of that, there is nobody else that is driving me with what to do with my time. Now, you may have someone at work, if you're in a job that's demanding that you put 8 hours or sometimes 10 hours or 12 hours if you're in a management position. And even then, you have power over what you do with that time. And so it's important for all of us to pause for a moment and really take a look at what it is that we are doing with our time. And I think part of what I realized for myself, and it goes back to this idea of balancing energy. I've shared with you many times the book Powerful Engagement, where they really talk about time itself not being what it is that we're trying to either monetize or manage or preserve, and that really is our energy. In other words, what it is that we're doing with our time. Now, I find that for the most part, I've got quite a bit of energy. I'm doing pretty good at making sure that I'm fueling my body throughout the day, putting good food in me, getting enough sleep at night. And I share with everyone that I get a little less sleep during the week, and I get a little more on the weekends. And by the way, just so you all know, and I've read and learned, is that we can't catch up on our sleep. So if you're going into serious sleep deprivation during the week, there is no such thing as being able to recover that during the weekend. The damage has been done. So you still want to make sure that you are getting enough sleep regularly during the week, and then it's okay if you want to sleep a little more. So I've got that one pretty well figured out. So I feel good about the sleep that I'm getting. But the one thing that I realized that I'm not doing so well, and I need to get back to, and that is prioritizing how it is that I am spending my time. And making sure to give the necessary priority or urgency, I want to stay away from that word a little bit, to some of the areas that I'm not giving enough attention to, that I don't feel like I have enough time for. So example would be the piece about prioritizing, and that is getting back to making everything that I want to give time to important. And I believe that's the key piece that I want to be able to get for myself and pass along to you, is that every area of my life deserves important action. It's interesting, I'm working with a group right now where the portion of the coaching that we're working on right now is that balance in life, where we are balancing our career and our finances and our physical health and our relationships, and time and service to others, relaxation, all those different areas of our lives. So what I realized is that I was not making as important every aspect of my life as I was and as I am my work, my finances, professional and personal development. Those are all super, super important, as are my physical health, my relationship with myself, my relationship with my wife and my son, my relationship with my colleagues, my relationships with my friends, the time that I do donate time and energy to service organizations. That what was happening for me was that I was feeling pressed to be able to give time to some areas of my life because I was putting more importance on other areas of my life. And so I believe it's important for all of us to take a step back and really look at all the areas and give them the same kind of importance. Because it does not do me good to be moving forward and building my business and creating income and giving time and energy to um, maybe it's some of those relationships, right? At the risk of not giving enough time to my physical health, time to relax, time to give to my wife and my son. And this is the piece that really came clear to me. When I also go back and take a look at the things that I waste time on, that's a big one. I might guise them as I need a break, I need to relax a little bit. But if I'm being real honest with myself, what I realize is that there were some of those areas of that I call relaxation, that what I was happening was I was relying on them at times to escape more serious matters, or to escape uncertainties, or to escape the feeling of being tired and exhausted. Where I say I'm getting plenty of rest, but what's happening is I'm not balancing enough my energies and the time I'm spending on all the areas. And I found myself getting a little burnt out in a couple of areas. And then what I would do, rather than having scheduled recovery time, what I was doing was being distracted by something that just took my attention away for a little bit. So for you and for me, it's time to take a step back and look at everything that is important to us. Look at all the areas of our life. So we're talking about a little bit of balance here, okay? So look at relationships, look at career, finances, physical, emotional, fitness, community, recreation, relaxation, whatever is important to you. And to take a look at all those and identify the activities that you want to engage in on a regular basis in all of those. So examples would be, so for my business, today there's going to be some emails that are going out to former clients, and it's reconnecting, it's retouching base with them, checking to see where they are, see what their needs are, whether from a coaching or training perspective. And so those are very important, and I have a time set aside now to be able to go ahead and do those today. There's also, for more personal, there's some work that I need to do, want to do, choose to do, and schedule time for 2 different books that I'm working on. And both require a different kind of energy, and I want to be able to set aside time for both of those today. That they both are super important to me, and they feed business a little bit, but it really is mostly more life purpose stuff that I want to be able to spend time and energy with that. My wife and I, we have had super, super busy weekends now, going on about 3 weekends in a row. And today she was, getting her Monday going on, and she realized, you know what, I'm already starting Monday out and really low on energy. And realizing that we have been on the go so much. And of course we have I won't say of course, we have a weekend coming up where we're not traveling. We're not entertaining, we're not doing anything. We're really going to relax this coming weekend. But then for her, what I decided was this evening, I'm going to go ahead and set it up that when she comes home, that she won't have to do any cooking tonight, that she just gets to really sit and relax and recover energies. And I've got just really planned just she and I having some time, but I'm also taking care of the dinner and there won't be anything for her that she'll need to be able to do. And real simple things like making the bed, make sure dishes are taken care of, all that sort of thing, where so that's an important piece for me that serves my relationship today. All right, so those are just some examples right there. So for you, what I want you to do is I want you to, one, just pause. Call timeout, right? Now I know the clock is still ticking, but this would be important time, if you will, to be able to gain some perspective on all the things you've got going on out there. And then what I want you to do is look at every area of your life and identify what in each of those is needing attention, is needing your time. And then, if you will, not unlike Stephen Covey when he used to talk about begin with the end in mind. Begin with the day, in other words, the end of the day, plan the day out before I start my day. Plan my week out before I start my week. So what I invite you to do is scan all those areas, look at each one of those areas and identify things that you want to be able to give time and energy to. Maybe it's getting time to work out. Maybe it's time to be able to study for classes, something that you're working on. Maybe it's time with special relationships or business relationships or friend relationships, whatever those are. Maybe it is time in your business where you need to be productive and do some very, very productive activities. Maybe you're avoiding making phone calls. I got one of my clients out there, we've been talking about that recently, got a list of those super important calls to make, the scary ones, get on that list. So to identify what it is and then schedule that stuff in. Get it scheduled in. And if you will, it goes on the premise of, and I say this all the time, we make time for what's important to us. So it's not that I don't have enough time. It's that what I'm not doing is giving time and energy and priority to the things that are important to me, where I was giving them less importance as far as time went. And not being more disciplined with my time, where I was actually wasting some time in there. Now, we're not always going to be perfect in there, but here's the thing. If we schedule everything that we want to be able to have in there, we're less likely to waste our time. Even on things, we can schedule time to play a video game. We can schedule time to watch ESPN or watch one of your favorite reality shows. That's all great. That's downtime, right? Schedule it though. Don't let it be a distraction to what it is that you're wanting to accomplish. Therefore, it's wasting time, and therefore it's also not recovering energies. Because when we're wasting time, we're losing energy. When I schedule downtime, I'm recovering energy. So for you, if you find yourself not having enough time, this is a time right now to rein it in. Look at every area of your life, identify what you want to engage in each one of those areas, and schedule time for yourself today or this week. And schedule it in there. And what you'll find is when you're scheduling it in there, you're giving its priorities, what needs to be given attention, not letting one area of your life have more power or time than other areas to where you're not giving yourself enough time in those other areas. So do that so that you can indeed, if you will, get a balance of your energies and start giving time and energy to all areas of your life. And what you will find, and I know that what I will find because I've done this before, is that I will find that I have time for everything that I want to do because I'm making time for it. Rather than spreading some areas out, giving them more time and energy and letting some others go by the wayside. Because what I know happens for me is that when I'm not giving energy to all the important areas of my life, I start to lose energy. I start to lose enthusiasm. I start to get unmotivated. And also what starts to happen is fear starts creeping in there. Fear starts creeping in there in all the different areas of my life, and I'm out of balance, I'm out of whack. You might be experiencing this too. So for you this week, look at the areas of your life, identify the activities you want to engage in each one of those areas, and schedule time to do every single one of them. Make time, make it important enough, even if you've got a lot of things going on. And by the way, if you need to be able to add a level of accountability, share that calendar with someone who cares about you and that you care about, who's going to help you stay accountable to all those things that are important to you. All right? So remember, tomorrow's not promised, so get on it today. And remember, you and I have only got this one lifetime to be able to do any of this. This is our time right now. So get started today. Take a moment to look at your area, all areas of your life, and look to see where you've not been given time to. So thank you for joining Leading Life Large. Remember, tune in each week. If you're not able to listen to it live, no problem. It's always downloadable. And if you want to get the visual version of it outside of Blog Talk Radio, you're welcome to go to my YouTube channel, and you're welcome to go ahead and see the video of that as well. All right? So with that, have a fantastic week. And remember, make time for what's important to you. All right, bye-bye now.